Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all of my beautiful friends from all across the vast reaches of the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is having an absolutely spectacular Tuesday morning or whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or night. Welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Now, remember, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. If you could also send out this podcast, if you enjoy the podcast, share it with your friends and let everybody in the town know about it. Maybe go ahead and ring that giant bell in your local church. And then just let them know, just ring that bell, let the townsfolk know that there is a podcast coming. You can respond and listen and respond and comment to this week's question by going to Spotify and hitting the description of the episode, and then if you scroll down, you should see a comment section. You can leave a comment and answer the question. I will read that comment out loud on the next week's following episode. You don't always have to, actually answer the question, even if you just want to say something about the episode or really anything about podcast sort of things related in general. Please go ahead and do that. This is an ad-supported show, so we'll take a break after we're done reading the responses, and then a little bit of a break to like 20-30 minutes into the show after that. Please go ahead and follow us on our subreddit, or join our subreddit, r/Reddit Asks Us on Reddit, where there's a new mega thread posted every week, and you can comment anything you want under there as well. So now that all that fun stuff's out of the way, the Would You Rather from last week was, would you rather relive one day in the past or see one day 5 years into the future? We had a 25-75 split on this one, so it was pretty well, a done deal with this. And the answer was future. So it seems as though a lot of people want to peek one day into the future, and I'm really hoping no one's going to be disappointed if they find out they suffer from alcoholism. No, I'm just kidding. But 5 years, you never know. I think I'd be quite shocked, if I look 5 years in the future, I'm like super hype, and then it's literally just me dead on a street corner. That would be wonderful. Or it just cuts to a grave. Like, oh, okay, well, at least we know it's short life. Got to live it fast, right? Okay, so the question for last week was, what wild thing have you overheard casually? Sorry, holy crap, I don't know what's going on. First one comes from Dusty. For the prompt, I have a couple. When I was a junior in high school, I overheard a freshman girl dating a senior, and she was talking about her boyfriend and how she had to break up with her senior boyfriend soon. What the hell? Update on the goofy things at my school. Last week, we had a few fights in the morning, and someone set off firecrackers in the bathroom. They're very, you're just trying to liven up the day, right? If people aren't quite awake, when you get to school and you're still, you're a little foggy in morning time, just boom, 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 firecrackers. That'll wake you up, gets the eyes going too. It's really bright in the face, especially if you point them at people, like a Roman candle or something. You just point it right at someone, it fries their face off. It really gets people awake, It's the sort of heat treatment type of thing. It's a new trend I've been seeing. And they boarded up the bathroom. I saw in the last episode you liked older anime, and for those, and those are good choices. Attack on Titan is a great watch. Fan service ruins anime when it's used. Ask a non-gooner, and they'll agree. See, that's the thing. That's why I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm surprised in the last episode I like older animes. I said I like Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, is that old now? I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh was around when I was like a kid. Am I? Oh God, I'm getting old, folks. This is really tough. But okay, I don't know what I forgot. Anyways, thank you for the comment, Dusty. Next one comes from JJ. I forgot to mention that I'm actually a special little cat. That's a previous nickname, not for anyone who's just wondering if this person is a special little cat. I'm not new, but I just changed the name. My bad, guys. Apart from most of the freakiest things my friends have said, not too many wild things have been said. Okay, well, maybe you just have to wait until you're a little older, and then things naturally start to progress in your life, and I guarantee you will see and hear some wild things as you get older. Things you really did not intend. That's kind of the overarching theme, is most of the crazy and wild things that I've seen or heard have not been things that I've really intended to see or hear. Next one comes from Phil Savannah. What's going on, Phil? I overheard a friend was being cheated on and his girlfriend was sleeping with his twin brother. Bro, I thought there was some sort of like twin connection, like that you were supposed to be able to have, with your twin. Like the other twin. Is that how you found out? He kind of just was like, he kind of just felt that it feels like I'm having sex with my girlfriend, but I'm not. And then just pulls up to his brother's room and it's just, wow, there's that twin connection right there. That's proof. When it all came out, she said she was hooking up with the right twin the first time, and it happened and that the sex was so amazing, and then didn't realize until the next morning that it wasn't the right twin. The right twin, right, left, Twix, bars, they're like twins. And then they secretly snuck around. Wow, that is devastating to hear that one twin is better than the other twin at sex. It's just like, yeah, don't even bother with Johnny, because James is he's got it down. He's the gifted twin. That's what they call. There's one twin that's kind of like the subpar twin. The twin that's a little bit less good looking. Yeah, so I say go for the other one. Now he was blessed. He was the blessed twin. Next one comes from Vortex. What's going on, Vortex? And so just to clarify, for the last week's episode was what's a red flag in someone's house, and Vortex meant to say not having a welcome mat is a red flag. We don't have a welcome mat in our place. We do have a mat. It doesn't say welcome on it, so I hope that people feel welcome when they scrub their shoes on the mat. And then a suggestion for if I did a Discord, I could do it at a special episode where I have a listener or a couple listeners on the show. Something, just an idea. I'm not opposed to this too. I'm kind of a little bit more of like a phone call potentially guy if I wanted to have some of the people on, because you never know what people might say when you're like alive, and you just like, I would hate to cut people out and do that kind of thing. I hate management. You know what I mean? I don't like managing people. I'm not very good at managing those people, especially you never know, because somebody could troll us and hop on and just ruin the show. But anyways, but it's a good idea. I definitely will look into making the Discord. It's just busy season right now, but that's something I will look into. Last one comes from Gid. For the Would You Rather, I chose one day in the future so I can see what VR is like 5 years in the future and see how realistic it is. I haven't really overheard anything, but some people talking about their bedroom activities, but that's about it. I feel like, man, with everything that, I feel like nowadays, just with, social media, internet, everyone's broadcasting their lives. It's kind of something I do, too. And it's inevitable. We're hearing, you remember back in the day, you remember hearing about what it was like in the 50s, and it says, oh, Janice and I were rocking and a-rolling last night. And it's like, oh, my God, that, rocking and rolling? You better not let that... you guys were talking on the phone, and nowadays it's like, yeah, she was in my house and got pterodactyled by, 5 dudes the other day. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, that we broke up because I walked in on that. So it's like, oh my goodness, we've definitely we've definitely gotten a lot more comfortable with our sexuality as time has gone on. That's a good thing. It's good to be comfortable with that sort of thing, but in public, I don't really think this is information that needs to be broadcast. I don't really need to hear about your sex dungeon in your basement. That's, it's a little much. Could you imagine what people back, even 50 years ago, even 20 years ago? Because nowadays, if you can see some weird stuff on the street, right? You can see people with the whole, what is it called? The humiliation thing, people are wearing dog masks and all this sort of thing. I've actually seen stuff like that out. You just kind of okay, whatever, if it's to each their own. I couldn't imagine people doing that back in even just 20, 30 years ago, in the 90s. People would have thought that there was a, the Matrix was taking over, that there was that there was some sort of uprising happening within the earth, and then they realized that it's all some sort of sexually related thing in there. Probably even more scared. All right, we're going to take a short, quick little break, and then we will head back into it with this week's episode.
Saí da escola já com uma formação profissional no currículo? Metodologia por projetos? Preparação para o Enem? Atividades extras gratuitas, como acesso a oficinas, simulados, vagas de estágio, Olimpíadas do Conhecimento e muito mais? Esse é o Ensino Médio Técnico do Senac. Quer saber? Senac. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino médio e saiba mais.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the Red Asks Us podcast, which you can, of course, see by the episode title. We've got some stories here today. Dear hotel receptionists of Reddit, who was the most horrible guest you have ever encountered? So if you want to answer this question, I'm just going to preface this by saying, maybe if you work in customer service, tell us a bad customer service story that you've had, or a bad customer service experience that you have bore witness to. I remember, I actually wasn't there for this particular day, but I remember that our assistant manager got in a bunch of trouble and actually I think she got fired or she got transferred at one of my old jobs because she called a customer the C word in the middle of the store out loud, and that was not a great look. Not a great, very friendly, inviting customer environment. I know they say the customer's always right, but even if you have a pretty terrible customer, I don't know if that warrants the use of the C word. First one comes from Aisha. It all started when the guest checked in late one evening. He seemed normal enough until he asked, "Does my room come with a microwave?" I told him it didn't, and he looked absolutely devastated and said, "I cannot survive without a microwave." I offered to warm something up for him if he needed, but that wasn't good enough. He stormed out and came back an hour later dragging a full-size microwave he'd purchased from a nearby store. Where do they sell microwaves close to the hotel? I've never heard of that. Like, there's just an IKEA mini down the street. The trouble really started at 3 a.m. when the fire alarm went off, waking the entire hotel. Turns out Mr. Midnight Microwave decided to cook a steak in his new appliance. Not just heat it. He'd seasoned it, wrapped it in foil, and popped it in there like it was an oven. The foil caused a small fire, which set off the sprinklers in his room. By the time we got there, his room was soaked, the microwave was destroyed, and he was trying to save his steak by patting it dry with hotel towels. In case anyone doesn't know, if you burn your steak, if you go to your local hotel and you ask them for towels, that is what is going to prevent your steak from being overcooked by putting it in the microwave with tin foil. When asked why he thought this was a good idea, he replied, "I didn't know microwaves couldn't cook steak. This is your fault for not having one in the room in the first place." Needless to say, he was charged for the damage and the room was out of commission for weeks. This is an interesting little tidbit of information for this fellow. I don't know if they would have known this, but it doesn't matter what microwave it is. If you put metal in a microwave, it is going to explode. This is something that we learn, quite young. I never even had to put a fork in the microwave to understand what happens when you put metal in a microwave. Did we not watch Bill Nye as children? Did we not see some sort of scientific educational programming? Also, if you were going to cook steak in a microwave, like raw steak, my friend, if the microwave explosion wasn't going to kill you at some point in your life, like I'm surprised it already hasn't, I'm surprised you haven't died of eating raw steak, raw meat that you've just thrown in the microwave. Also, if you're so concerned about whether hotels have a microwave or not, you seem like you're traveling. Do you not have like a car that you could just have a microwave that you travel around with if this is such a big deal to you? Or like a hot plate? I feel like that's probably a better way to go about doing this. I wouldn't get too angry at Motel 6 for not having your up to spec microwave in the room. To be that devastated, like, about a microwave not being present, like, this is just a small indication, I think, of some other big issues. I don't think I've ever really even thought about the fact that there was a microwave. You know, there's also a microwave, like, down the area where there's, like, the breakfast area and all that stuff. There's going to be a microwave somewhere around. It doesn't have to be in your room. It's like, no, if it's not in my... No, you don't understand. It has to be in my room. What are you not getting about what I'm saying? The microwave needs to be in my room and present. Okay, I need an emotional support microwave around me at all times. Do you not understand? This is crazy. Next one comes from Sticking Bug Bitch. We had a guest whose kid squat walked a turd diarrhea 12-foot line into the pool and demanded we clean it up. Then they were upset that we had to close the pool. We also had a creepy old man come in asking me to bring rubber duckies to his room for his bath every night in a 5-star hotel, and I'd always just kind of nervously laugh. I'm living in far north Queensland in Australia, where there are lots of creatures, and they get in sometimes. No matter how nice the hotel is, it's the rainforest. We had a guest come from New Zealand, come screaming at us about a lizard infestation because she had found a 1-inch gecko in her room. She said her kids were afraid. They were not, and it was unsanitary and unsafe. We removed the lizard, and she demanded an entire new room. Then she left a very nasty review because one of us cracked a smile at the term lizard infestation. God, I have so many weird stories I can't even remember. I can't even remember half of them. There's a lot to break down here in this one. First one, the kid just, like, no one, the kid, like, 12 feet? The parents weren't watching and been like, oh, time to go to the bathroom. They were just like, wait till he's fucking finished. All right? How would you like if I just walked in on the bathroom and told you to get up while you were taking a shit? How would you like that? If I just told you to just get up? No, don't finish. Just, I need you right now. So I need you to just stop whatever you're doing and come with me right now. So why don't you just stop while you're in the middle of going to the bathroom, and we'll do what we need to do. No, that's why I didn't bother him. Okay? He's in the zone. He's got to get it all out of his system. All right? This is just textbook sort of, allowing somebody when they're in a situation to just remain there and lock in, dial in, and do the work that they need to do. And then after that, we can deal with the consequences. Okay? It's not all pretty. All right, but we have to let these children focus. People are being way too hypocritical nowadays because they're saying, we're letting our children have too much stimulation. We're not letting them focus. But then you're not gonna just let them diarrhea all over the floor and let them finish what they started. This is the problem. Is children are picking things up and putting them down again. This is what everyone says. It's just, we got a generation of quitters. Well, my son's no quitter, okay? I told him if he had even more to let it go. Okay, I told him that if he could make it back to me, then we're gonna order Indian food again. All right? So that's what I told him. So, yeah, that's kind of on you. I don't raise generational quitters. The creepy old man with the rubber ducks. I mean, there's clearly some issues there. I feel like it's never, like, why are you asking the hotel staff? Like, that's clearly super weird and suspicious for the rubber ducks. Like, no normal person's gonna go up to a front desk and be like, yeah, so I noticed there wasn't any rubber ducks in the bathroom. I noticed, is that like do I have to pay extra for those, or is that like a add-on bonus type of thing, or is that only for the upper tier suites? Because I know that the upper tier suites, they kind of, they get the booze in the fridge, they get the the nice folded swan towels in the morning. So I'm just wondering what's the situation on the rubber duckies, because I'm not going to be able to get myself nice and spick and span and cleany weeny if I don't have a little rubber ducky wucky in the bathroom. So I'm just wondering what the process is to go about that. and what your standard of care is for the rubber ducky wuckies. I'm just a little curious on your ducky wuckie policy. Do we get to keep them after, or do we have to return them to the hotel? Sorry, this is just, classic. I gotta ask these questions. All right, these are gonna inform my Yelp review of your establishment here. So just take your time. But I'd really like to get those ducky wuckies as soon as possible. Yeah, no. If somebody's going and asking for that, they are. I mean, I don't even think you would have had to put in creepy. I feel like if you would have just asked for rubber ducks, I feel like we could have assumed that this guy was a total creepo. And then just the lizard thing too. Like, I feel like, I mean, everybody knows this about Australia. Does not everybody know this? Do we not all have Instagram reels? We don't see that Australia has more diversity of species on their continent than any other place on planet Earth. Because I'm pretty sure you can quote me on that. Please go and Google search ChatGPT me on that and check my knowledge. But I'm pretty sure that Australia has the most diversity of species in the continent than any other place on the planet Earth. So, just using a little bit of logic of deduction here, putting my philosophy degree to work here, folks. This is the real importance of applied philosophy. It would be a little strange if there weren't a couple of little, things in the room. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to invite a giant tarantula, or some sort of, venomous, poisonous snake creep its way into the room. If I pull up into the room and that's kind of a bit of an infestation going on there, that we might have a different conversation. But the Geico gecko, this is where we're kind of drawing line. Isn't New Zealand full of stuff like this too? Like, I don't know. Maybe somebody can educate me, but like, I don't know. Bugs? Nice places always have bugs. That's the whole thing. When you go to a nice place, there's no such thing as a complete paradise. There's always something. It's going to be freaking sharks or whatever it is. I don't care. There's always going to be a thing. You're not going to be able to go somewhere. You can't come to northern Canada and, have a cabin and, for the winter, and then you get up there and you're like, is that a freaking moose? Do you guys have like a freaking moose infestation? I can't believe I'm seeing a moose outside my freaking window right now. Or like deer getting into your food if you leave it out. It's like, yeah, that's kind of what animals do. They're kind of in and around the area. That's, this is the whole, that's kind of, have you ever heard of nature? It's kind of the whole point. Next one comes from someone stoic. I used to work as a night receptionist at a hotel in Jalandhar, India a few years ago. Most nights were uneventful, but one guest will forever be burned into my memory. It was around 2 a.m. when a man came stumbling to the front desk, looking panicked. He whispered that there's someone in his room. Naturally, I was alarmed, and I immediately checked the system to ensure he hadn't been double booked, but everything looked fine. I offered to check the room with him. As we entered, I turned on the lights, and there it was, the intruder. It was a life-size cutout of a Bollywood actor that we had placed in the hallway for a promotion earlier that day. For some reason, he had brought it into his room, propped it in the corner, and forgotten about it. I tried to keep a straight face as he muttered something about being too tired and shuffled back into bed. The next morning, he checked out like nothing had happened, but I'll never forget having to rescue someone from their own cardboard celebrity at 2 a.m. Yeah, when there's like just a hole in the crotch area of this stand-up cardboard cutout, as soon as you turn the lights in, there's a hole there. He's like, freaking what the heck? Like, I must have got like angry and like punched it or something. That's like super weird. I don't even like remember having this thing in here. I'm like, sorry, I guess I had a little too much to drink and I just don't remember. Like, sometimes I get a little like aggressive, I think maybe, and I just was like, oh, I'm gonna punch it. It's like, really? You're gonna punch it in the perfectly cut cylindrical shaped, circular shaped hole right in the crotch area, right around like your sort of height type of thing going on here? Are you really expecting me to believe that? It's like, like it's not even, it's like, especially next to the, the hottest Hollywood actress right now. Like, she's in literally everything, or Bollywood everything. She's kind of the whole reason why people are staying in this hotel because the premiere's coming out in the movie theater down the street. Like, it's going to be this massive thing, and you didn't think that we were going to notice that you just took this cardboard cutout. He's like, you know what? This is my apologies. I think best case scenario, I'll take it off your hands, and we can just forgive and forget. All right, forgive and forget. I'll take it off your hands if you're gonna make me. Oh no, tie my hands behind my back. No, you don't. It's just I'll take it. I'll take it off your hands. No worries there. I think it's just also I think I should probably take it to my therapist. Maybe we need to work something out. It's probably better she sees it in person. We can really start diving into some psychological things going on, probably. I'm thinking that's kind of what the vibe is in this situation, so don't even worry about it. I will. It's like, really? You cut a hole in the mouth area too? That seems like a little too much to be a coincidence. Yeah. I do it. I just have this thing with cardboard cutouts. I just want to cut it out even more for some weird reason. I feel like it's almost just not fully complete. Why they don't make them that way, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, don't even worry about it. Next one, a reply from Frosty back 4018. This reminded me of the time my dad got out the autographed cardboard cutout of Sting from WWE, forgot about it, and then punched it after getting scared at 5 a.m. Thankfully, I met Sting again when I was 15, so I was able to get more autographs from him, and it's funny, and it's a funny story now too. LOL. Yeah, your dad's just constantly in the basement, just won't stop. The lights are on. He can clearly see it's a cardboard cutout, and he's just seething at the mouth. You guys is like, Dad. He turns around. He's just beet red in the face. His knuckles are bleeding. He's like, where am I? What's going on? Who are you? Why are there kids? What's happening? Dad, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I should be asking you. This seems like what kind of is this? Have you done this before? Are these the beatings we've been hearing about at night? Why are your eyes yellow? Is that fangs? Why do you have all this hair all over your body? Are you perking up with like dog ears? Your dad's just secretly a werewolf. It's like trying to hide it from you this whole time. He's like, just ripped the cardboard into shreds. It's literally shredded on the ground. Pillows exploded. It's like, this looks like the work of a dog. We don't have a dog. Dad, you've always said that you're allergic to dogs. I am allergic to dogs. Just drop it, okay? I can't be around them. I don't want to think about dogs. I don't want to be around dogs. Can we drop this? Your dad is the local werewolf. Next one comes from Ksenia Nagnatova. Holy crap. There was this one guest who demanded a room with an upgrade because their aura didn't vibe with the one they booked. When told no, they started yelling, cursing off the staff, and threatened to leave a bad review, only to call back later asking for a discount because they forgot their wallet. When I have done all my years of peace training and temperament training and just all of the time spent practicing my meditation, I have never in my life dealt with such selfish and ignorant pieces of fucking shit like you people. Can you not clearly tell that there is an aura mismatch? Did you not see me walk in through the hotel doors, okay? I am wearing homemade clothing right now. All right, my aura, I can't even be peaceful. I don't even, peace leaves my body when I don't get what I want, okay? Do you not understand this? There was no diffuser in my bedroom, okay? I asked simply for a diffuser. It's like, we told you on the phone that we don't have diffusers and that we're not going to go and buy one for your room so that just you as this customer can have a diffuser. Okay. And there's no natural lighting. Like, why is there no natural lighting? Why am I facing a brick wall? Well, the hotel sold out. You said that if you didn't get a room in this hotel, that you were going to basically make a bunch of fake accounts and leave us a terrible review. So we gave you the one room we told was available to you, but we said there was no natural light. It's facing another building. Wow. You guys are not passing the vibe check right now. There's no way. I'm gonna make a TikTok about this. It's gonna go insanely viral, this next TikTok that I'm gonna make about this building, because of the lack of aura management going on here. How can you not clearly vibe match a customer as they walk in? There's no, I asked for grass in the room, and what happened when I walk in? It's freaking laminate floors. Laminate flooring? Do I look like I should be walking upon laminate floor? All right, why do you think I stitched grass into the bottom of my Birkenstocks? Yeah, because I'm a nature person, okay? It's like, well then why don't you freaking sleep outside? There's plenty of nature there. Reply from Tradition Scary 8716. We had a guru and her two associates come in once. The associates weren't allowed to speak. The guru called down to the front desk because the polyester mattress cover was interfering with her aura. She said she had to have a natural cotton fiber. So we found a different brand, cut that tag out and said and tag out that said polyester. Told her it was cotton and put it on her bed. The next day she reported her aura was fine after sleeping on a cotton cover. Meanwhile, we were changing her bed and her associates ate the entire week's worth of bananas in the dining room, plus a shit ton of sausage. Neither of them weighed over 100 pounds. And during all that, one of our housekeepers went into her room and found a knit comb and empty bottles of lice shampoo. Turns out a family had rented 3 or 4 different rooms all over the hotel. One of the kids had lice and was running in and out of their rooms. I thought our manager was going to quit that day. That's not a terrible day to quit. I wouldn't blame you for leaving a letter of resignation that day. But these are the rise of the TikTok guru. It's like, yeah, if you're gonna follow me, one thing about me that you're going to know, if you're going to be one of my monks, is that for as long as we travel, I know I said I got you covered, okay? You're going to come with me, no problem. But you just can't eat. No eating. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, oh, I'm a human being. I'm going to starve to death. Listen, you clearly haven't done our prevention from eating meditations. Okay, you clearly haven't done the satiation meditations. How to make yourself feel full without eating. Maybe you should go read my book, okay? How to make yourself feel full without eating. It's a New York Times bestseller, okay? And in there, you're going to find all that information. She just can't afford to feed them. She's just telling them they can't eat. It's just against their practicing, as they don't even belong to any religion. This is just her beliefs. This is like her second coming of Scientology. But yeah, so if you really want to get in touch with your inner vibe and your inner aura, we're just going to have to ask you that you spend I know this is going to be tough, okay? But who said it was going to be easy? About a grain of rice per week. Grain of rice per week. I do it. Look how great I look. She's like freaking fit, weighs like 140 pounds, just pure freaking lean muscle. All she eats is just straight up lean meat and vegetables. Yeah, and I do this, just a couple of grains of rice every month, and I'm able to get by just fine. Look at how amazing I look. It's going to make you feel really locked in. It's going to make you feel really revitalized, like you've never felt before. Yeah, I'm never going to feel this way before because I've never been starving to death. Never been concerned about the fact I might die. Next one comes from Lil Pound Cake. Probably the guy at a stag party who managed to shit himself in the lobby. What is up with all the pooping? Okay? We have bathrooms. We have the most sophisticated plumbing system that has ever been created on the planet Earth ever. And yet people are still pooping their pants and on the floor. What can we do about this, okay? What can we raise awareness about this? Like, is this something we can actively start a movement against? Who are we targeting here? How do we find them? Probably the guy at the stag party managed to shit himself in the lobby and then run away, pursued by security as there was a trail across the lobby of the stairs and the lift. Like the world's worst Hansel and Gretel. When security caught up to the surprisingly fast drunk guy, he made it to the first floor public bathroom and flooded it, trying to flush his trousers and underwear. Yeah, that's a great idea. That sounds like it's gonna work. You know what's a substitute for like basically a massive garbage disposal? It's just flush your pants down the toilet. You know, I know the hole looks really small, but you know, throw anything you want down there. It's honestly, it's one of those all-in-all garbage disposal type of things for those toilets. I mean, in case anyone never knew. So if you just got things you need to get rid of, why bother going to the dump? Just go to your local public bathroom, dump all your garbage in the toilet, give it a flush, and there you go. He made it up and tried to flush it out, just standing there, running down his legs, and just a full bait and tackle swinging in the breeze. Wow, that is just wonderful. I mean, why get the motivation to run? That's the thing I'm worried. It's like, shouldn't you be asking for help? Like, why are you running? Like, you're only tracking this through the whole building. Like, if that happens to you, just ask for help. That's kind of I don't think running away is going to make it seem even more suspicious. I think people are going to be questioning the fact that you even are staying in a room in the building if as soon as someone tries to, oh my God, sir, you're going to the bathroom all over the ground. Is there something we can do to help? Get the fuck away from me. Get away from me. I don't want you around me. This is my thing, okay? This is me. I'm expressing myself. Get away. Okay, I understand that we all have very unique and individual ways of self-expression, but I think we're going to have to draw the line somewhere. I think defecation in public areas is something that we should definitely take into strong consideration as something we shouldn't continue as a practice anymore. You know, I know it's already against the law, but there are some good, you know, how not all laws make sense, right? Not all laws are just, not all laws make sense. But I think that this is kind of the one, maybe, I don't really care what culture you belong to. I think we can kind of all unanimously agree that you shouldn't run in public places with shit running down your leg and just vandalizing the whole area. That's just, yeah. It's like, what? I wanted to deal with it myself. I thought I could just deal with it on my own. I don't know why you guys were chasing me. It's hard to deal with it on your own when you're tracking it through the entire building, and it's basically the sole responsibility of our janitorial staff to clean up after you. So, reply from OMG, it's cheese, what the fuck. I once stayed at a hotel next to an event center I was volunteering at. I had a hotel room in a hotel maybe 300 meters from the event center. Well, what no one realized was that the bridge over the railway between the event center and the hotel was shut for repairs, and the detour was 8 miles. Wow, holy crap. I hadn't slept for 48 hours mid-event and decided I absolutely had to sleep right then. So I decided to climb across the building site of the railway bridge at about 2 a.m. I stumbled and fell on a pile of wet cement gravel. And I mean, I ate that shit face first at full speed. I got up and barely stumbled back to the hotel and crawled into bed. In the morning, I woke up and and as I got down to the ground floor of the hotel, there was a gravel trail everywhere. There was right through the hotel lobby back to the entrance, and the staff frantically trying to sweep it up. Apparently, some drunk guest had trapped it in. Hey, I was sober. just very tired. And that night staff just had left it there for the day team to deal with. So yeah, I accidentally deemed to be drunk and caused a very gravelly mess in a hotel lobby despite having had no alcohol. Well, at least if you fell in it with your feet, you get some permanent shoes. That's kind of nice. At least you don't really have to worry about buying shoes ever again. And you know what? The facial recognition software has gotten really good, so I think all they really needed to do was just kind of do a facial sweep of the beep, type of environment. Facial features detected, and it's just, they kind of tracked you down pretty soon after that. That is insane. Instead of like 8 miles, wow, that's really long. But like, Uber. There's no Ubers. There's no public transit. I mean, maybe at 2 a.m., but like still, cab. You can take a cab. Like Uber again. Like why do you have to? No, I'm just gonna traverse this this open construction site with there's probably like I could fall 10 feet right onto my face, probably even more than that, maybe more like 15 feet directly onto my face, wet cement. There's power tools everywhere. There's pieces of steel rebar. I'm surprised you didn't come into the building with a piece of steel rebar just sticking right through your abdomen, just being like, oh, it happens, right? When you gotta figure out your way to get home. When there's only a couple ways to get home, and you don't want to walk 8 miles, sometimes you just got to take the steel rebar in the abdomen. And then that's kind of just, you got to do what you got to do. Next one comes from Emma Scarlett 899. We had a guest who clearly had a pet in his bag and kept denying it. The pet was squirming and the dog was inside whining. What a selfish piece of shit to do that to the dog. That's, what the fuck? That's insane. Really? Could you not find another hotel that just allows pets? It's probably cheaper to find a place that does. Like motels probably have places where you can have your pets. Like it's probably cheaper to find places that do accept pets than don't. Like that seems really weird to me. It's like, yeah, sir, do you have a pet in your bag? How dare you accuse me? How dare you accuse me of having a pet in my suitcase? What kind of person would do that? You know what? I ought to file for harassment against this establishment. Well, sir, the only reason I'm asking is because your suitcase is barking. Okay, I don't really know a ton of inanimate objects that tend to make live reactions and actively are trying to bite their way through that suitcase. He just like throws it behind his back. He's just like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what suitcase. What suitcase are you talking about? It's like, sir, I'm also very allergic to dogs, and I can tell when there's a dog here. Like my nose is completely stuffed and plugged. I'm sneezing. Like there's definitely a dog in your bag. Wow. I don't know about that, but I know there's a dog in here. Okay, and you don't want to see the dog come out. All right, you don't want to meet the dog. All right, because I got a dog, and he's vicious. So mind your business, okay? This is a battery powered suitcase. It's meant to keep people from stealing it, okay? It's meant to scare people away and think that there's a dog in there. Then why is there hair poking out of the side of it? The tail is exposed. It's wagging right now in distress. Like there's clearly an animal in there. It's all part of the new design. It's like I'm patent pending. It's literally my design. Okay, it's a way to scare off intruders. They're always worried about people stealing your luggage, stealing your things. Well, they won't do it if there's a guard dog around. Reply from Traditional Tackle 1. My dad used to do security at a hotel and casino. Kids were not allowed on the property. People would sneak their kids in suitcases and leave them in the room while they wanted to gamble. Eventually, someone would hear their kids and family would be kicked out. If you're putting your kids inside a suitcase to go gamble, I really am hoping that's kind of the final straw to realize that you have a gambling problem. It's like, it wasn't the $100,000 that you lost gambling, and it wasn't even the fact that you threw the kids, zipped them up in the suitcase. Just got it because you had to take them with you because the wife said that the kids were yours this weekend and you actually have to see them, court mandated, you have to actually take the kids and experience time with their father. You can't just blow it off every single time. It's like, well, you know what? It's fine. Kids love cramped spaces. Kids love squirming their way around in tiny little, cramped and confined spaces. Everyone knows that about kids, okay? You always see those movies and the kids are climbing through the air ducts. All right, it's tiny, it's cramped, it's confined in there. They love that stuff. Kids are naturally not claustrophobic. That's why I can't be in a suitcase, because I'm an adult. I grew out of that phase. I'm no longer in that phase, but I know my children, for your information, my children love being zipped into suitcases and being forced to go to a hotel with me for a weekend while I gamble. They actually that's kind of what they said when I first picked them up from their mother. They were like, Daddy, did you bring the suitcases for us? The extra small ones that we can't really fit in all that well because we're growing out of them and you can't really do that much anymore. And are we going to go to the hotel so you can blow all your money? Yeah. Those are my kids, okay? My kids are they're good kids. They are educated. They understand what it means for a father to provide. Okay? They know what I'm doing. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up there for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/AskReddit. I'm your host, Luke Dick. Now, remember, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast, please leave us a rating and also leave us a review. I will be so grateful if you could do that. Remember, you can respond to this week's Q&A or this week's question by going to the description of the episode in Spotify and commenting down there. I'll read it out in the next week's following episode. Please join our subreddit, r/Reddit Asks Us on Reddit. And I think that's everything for this week. Make sure you answer the poll. Peace out. Love you. Goodbye. I'll see y'all next week.